It's your time to renew, rebuild, and restore with Rebirth Podcast. Let's go!
It's what you've been waiting for. The Rebirth with your host, Shay Marriott.
Let's go!
And Eli Isabel.
Good evening and welcome to the Rebirth. I'm your host, Shay Marriott.
And it's your boy, Eli Isabel, a.k.a. The South Got Something to Say. Happy Monday, Shay.
Happy Monday. How you doing, E?
I am doing all right under the circumstances. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
That's what's up. What's up, Rebirth family? What's up, Philly Jams 95.3? We are in the building, man. Happy Monday to you all. Thank you for joining us tonight. Shay.
Yes.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. But you know, I always have an issue remembering what I did over the weekend.
You gotta put that together.
But it was good. It was good. But let me tell you though,
Yes.
something amazing happened. Something amazing happened, and I'm so humble and excited about
Yes.
this. So,
Talk about it.
I am the recipient of the Her Legacy Award for 2024.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
They couldn't have picked a better person.
Thank you. I
Wow.
appreciate it.
So
Thank
how
you
did
so
you,
much.
who gave you the news? How did you receive this?
They showed it actually on social media. They announced the winners. So, and shout out to all the other ladies that have also won. So I'm excited to be able to, just fellowship and celebrate with these ladies on March 17th.
So what's the criteria for winning this award?
So they're honoring trailblazers and, people, small business people, women, small business owners.
Okay.
And trailblazers in the community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff.
Right? Look at your
Thank
girl.
you.
I'm
Thank
trying.
you. I appreciate you because when you win, I win.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's right.
doing an
That's
acceptance
right.
speech.
Yes. So March 17th is the award ceremony, and the link is actually going to be posted soon. So I'll make sure that
Okay.
I send that out to you. But
So
it's
this
a
is
great
a-
time. It's going to be at the Christiana Hilton.
Okay, a live
Yeah.
event for the public.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm very excited. And again, congratulations to all the other ladies, all the other winners. So we're going to turn up March 17th.
Hey, congrats, man. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and some of the
Good-ish.
ladies that we're going to be celebrated is Ashley Cooper. You know who Ashley Cooper is, right?
Oh, I'm going to say yes for
Well,
the
I'm
sake
sorry,
of the show.
Ashley
yes.
Christopher.
Who is that?
Ashley Christopher, yeah. So she HBCU week.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
right,
gotcha.
yeah. So Alicia Cooper Wells and a lot of other people, Sherelle Flagg, Wendy Massey. It's a lot of women.
Okay,
So it's 10
awesome.
of us. Yeah.
Wow.
So definitely shout out to all of those ladies.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
stuff,
you.
good stuff.
I
Wow.
appreciate it. Yeah. So, guys, listen, again, welcome to the Rebirth Podcast. If you have not already, please follow us on all social media outlets. It's important that you follow us. We have some amazing things coming up. Speaking of amazing things,
Yes, talk about it.
I heard the South got something to say.
Woo! As always. Hey, y'all. Hey, listen. Happy Monday, y'all. As you all know, I always got something to say about something. So tonight, man, I want to just take a minute to get into something that was it resonated with me yesterday when I went to church. And one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was, do we only rely on our faith when things get hard? Is our faith tied to hardships in our life? So, and I got to thinking about that, so I'll speak for me. I think I've been guilty in the past of when my relationships are good, my bills are paid, my children are good, I got a little nest egg saved up. I got to thinking, do I pray less? Do I lean on God less when things are well?
That's good.
And then I got to thinking about, when I have these struggles, when I'm going through something emotionally, or when I lose someone that I really care about, I'm like all in. Like I'm praying even during the course of my day, not just at night or when I wake up. I'm praying during the course of my day to just get me through. So I have to remind myself that when things are going well, we all need to remind ourselves, no matter if you are Muslim, Catholic, whatever you are, we need to be giving thanks all the time. And one thing I've learned to do is give thanks, even during the bad times, because I know on the other side of that is going to be something great for me.
Yeah.
So just remember, let's not just have our faith tied to struggle and hard times. Mm-hmm. Let's also tie to when things are awesome. Because even during the bad times, God is still blessing you. We might not be able to see it or understand it, but just make sure we pray all the time and not just when things are going bad. And that's what the South got to say.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's good. Listen at you. See what happens when you go to church
and pay attention.
Your mind get renewed
and restored. I'm trying to rebuild.
Right. No, that's good. I like that, and it actually ties into our topic today. But I agree, and I don't think that's just a you thing, friend. I think that's a lot of people have those experiences, including myself. We pray a little bit harder, a little bit deeper, when things are not well. But when things are going good, our prayers are not as heavy as they should be.
Right. And you know what, when things are going well, I find myself I doze off. Your heart is light and you just kind of doze off and you forget about for lack of a better phrase, I'm going to say you forget about God because things are going well. And so I'm constantly trying to remind myself to give thanks all the time.
Yeah.
So, that's what I got to say.
So, listen.
Yes.
I do prayer journals. Right?
Okay.
And because I find it a little bit more, it's just a little bit more intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily always get down on my knees and pray before I go to bed, but I will sit down and I will write in my prayer journal and do my prayer that way. And that's my way of speaking to God. Right. So, that might be something.
I heard a pastor say one time, I don't know where I was at, but he said, God gets bored with us too. If you're praying to him the same way all the time, if you're getting down on your knees, he says, that's not always necessary. He says, if you're sitting up in your bed or if you're in your car, like wherever you are, just pray.
Yeah.
Like if you that person that gets down beside your bed every night, the old Lord, I lay me down to sleep. Praise the Lord, my soul to keep.
Right.
What you were taught as a kid.
Yeah.
So be creative in how you speak to God. And I think that also works. And I like the prayer journal idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Shay, thank you for that. I'm going to have to write my prayers down.
What I think about, though, like when you were talking about this, people that don't, because you started out by saying that people rely heavy on their faith, right? Mm-hmm. When they're going through hard things. You ever think about people that don't believe in anything? Like, what do they rely on?
You have to be really committed to not believing, to not, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you draw on?
Yeah.
Because I know D.L. Hughley, he's an atheist.
I did not know that.
Yes, he doesn't believe in God. Now, he doesn't knock anybody for believing in God, but he just thinks, he's laughing sometimes when people are talking about like what God did, what God, this and God that. But yeah, I would like to know someone who does not believe how they, what do they fall back on? That's a great question.
Yeah.
We need to find, you got an atheist friend?
I do not. No. Not that I know of.
You don't know no non-believers?
No. I mean, I know people that are non-believers, but they're not my friends.
Oh, well.
I keep my circle tight.
Yeah, that's a good
requirement. Honestly,
you got to be a believer.
You got to believe in something.
Hold on. So if I showed up next week and said, you know what, I don't believe in God no more.
Listen.
What happens to the rebirth? What happens to my role in the rebirth? I ain't gonna say what happens to the rebirth. What happens to your boy?
I don't know. We have to have an off-air conversation about that.
You'll bring me back. All right. Bring me back to the big guy.
For sure. Oh, man, but that really goes right into our topic tonight because I think that it's so important. I do personally, and that's just my own opinion. I think it's important that we believe in something.
Absolutely.
But our topic tonight, everybody, is if your basic needs are not met, mental wellness does not exist. If your basic needs are not met, mental wellness does not exist. It can't exist. So what are your basic needs? When I say basic needs, what comes to mind to you?
I need love. I need understanding. I need support. I need shelter.
Okay.
I need food, the basics. It for me. Now I know there's a whole nother theoretical meaning for that, but yeah.
So why do you think that if those needs are met, that mental wellness can't exist?
If they're not met?
If they're not met.
Because I think if you don't have that stability, so mental wellness starts with stability in my book. And if you are lacking stability in, just say if there are 5 things in your life that you need, and one or 2 or even one of those things are missing, it can throw off your mental wellness, because now you have to devote so much time and energy toward making that situation right, and it does distort your thought process. Yeah. And so, I think you need to have a balance. Everything's not going to be going well at the same time, but I think you need to have a balance of said things that you think you need or that apply to you for your mental health to be in a good place. Yeah.
So when I think about this statement, I think about just your basic, like you say, your basic shelter, right? I think about those that live in communities, the poverty levels and the things that people struggle with, how it affects you, environmental, physically and mentally.
Right.
Right. So there is a American psychologist by the name of Abraham Maslow, and his theory talks about the hierarchy of needs and reaching the level of self-actualization. Right. So the basic needs that he speaks of is the physiological needs, your safety and security, love and belonging. Like you said, you need love. Self-esteem. And his theory is if you're able to meet all of those needs, right, that you reach a level of self-actualization, which is the highest that you can be. Okay? So now some people completely agree with this theory, but then you have other psychologists and other theorists came after him that did not agree with that because they felt like needs change, right? So the argument is these are the needs that he say, but needs change. These needs are not always the same. People's needs change.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think as we grow naturally, what we need changes. As we evolve emotionally, mentally, and all of that stuff, of course things change. So maybe something on that list that was of great importance to you is no longer that. And like we talk about this with relationships all the time. How you and Shan, 3 years in? Yeah. So what you needed year 1, you might not need year 3, right? No, I'm just using. I'll use me.
No, you're perfectly fine.
And I don't mean that
I was impressed that you knew how long it was.
No, I didn't really. Well, I guess.
Just took a guess.
I just know when you started acting different a couple of years. I said, "Oh, she must have got a man now."
I got boots.
Different subject. That's the next show. We talk about when you was in that phase. Anyway, I could tell when you changed, subtle. But yeah, so my point is as we grow and evolve, and as new things come into our life, or old things are taken away. I think it's very, very possible that those needs to change. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So do you feel that we are motivated by our needs as human beings?
Absolutely. The average person, yes, all of us. We all have needs, and they are different for everybody. Yeah. People with a whole lot of money, that's not something that's on their list. They have that. They might be in search of love. And, right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
and it changes.
It changes for you based on your life situation. Absolutely.
So have you ever felt stuck?
Yeah. I almost cursed my kid over there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think, but you know what? I think here's one thing I think we need to understand too. Being stuck isn't a bad thing. Because sometimes you need to slow down. You need to stop. And I don't think we always need to have things figured out, because when we do, we get comfortable and then we don't grow. And we always think we have things figured out. So I don't think being stuck is a horrible thing. Now, you can't stay stuck forever, but I think being stuck allows you some reflection and some planning time for yourself. So I don't think being stuck is a horrible thing, just how long you stuck for, though.
So when we think about this, when we talk about this particular theory and reaching a level of self-actualization, being stuck means that there is some type of need that is left unmet.
Not being met, yeah.
Right? That's not being met. So just kind of applying that. What is it that, is not happening in my life, that I'm not receiving in my life, that's causing me to be stuck in this position? So the one thing, when I think about this, I think about going through my divorce, right? Or either making the decision to go file for divorce, and then trying to figure out what happens now after this. And if I look at this, the need that was not being met was, of course, the love and the stability, right? So it kept me in a place where I felt stuck,
right,
and I'm unmotivated, right? But this what happens when certain needs are unmet, but we have to be able to identify that, right? Understanding that love just does not come from your spouse, the person that, because we're like, oh my God, nobody loves me. We're quick to say stuff like that. We generalize it, right? But okay, I may not be in a loving relationship, but man, I got a bunch of friends and I got family that love me, that's able to actually give me what it is that I think I'm missing, right? Which then helps me become motivated again,
right,
to start moving and doing the things that I need, becoming unstuck.
Yeah, I think that also requires a level of transparency. So if you're a very private person and you don't want folk in your business, then that's going to be difficult. However, if you are, like you just said, you have this group of people around you that have the ability to lift you up and to rebuild, restore, you know what I'm saying, to all these awesome things, then yes, by all means, you may have to share some things that are uncomfortable, but in order for you to grow and to get back to where you need to be,
right?
Absolutely, we should take advantage of that, and in a positive way, take advantage of the people you have around you that can bring you back. Yeah, no.
So when you were talking about on your segment, the Self Got Something to Say, you were talking about faith, and I want to go back to that because earlier I was saying that the needs change.
Right.
That some people disagree with this because they feel that everybody needs change at some point in time. Do you feel that faith should be on that list, that pyramid that we saw?
Like something that we may or may not need going. But for me personally, no, faith is non-negotiable because I know. I mean, just being a little kid and going to church with my my mom and my siblings, like. Whether or not I believed it or even understood it as a kid, life has taught me to rely on that. So for me, that can't come off the hierarchy of things that I need to.
So that should progress. So it should be on the.
It should be for me, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So that would be a perfect example of the needs changing. That it doesn't fit that pyramid all the time. That there's certain things that will come into play that is going to be important depending on where you are in your life at that time.
Except for that part. For me, like I feel like I'm going to always need, and again, like I said earlier, when things are great and things are comfortable, I don't rely on my faith as much. In the past, I have not.
Yeah.
But I know that needs to be always there because I know that hard times are around the corner.
Right.
And I don't want God to think that I'm only coming to him when things are horrible.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, you work with people, you work with kids and all of that. Where do you think this applies in the population of, even looking at children?
Well, the kids I work with, and the reason I work with them is because they are missing several things on that list most of the time. So, and this is weird, right? But thank God that sometimes they're missing those things because I have a job.
Right.
Does that mean? I mean, because if all these kids had all those needs met,
right,
then where do we come in? Where are we needed? So, yes, I see those things. And even down to just love and basic love, shelter, the bare minimum the kids we work with a lot of times are not getting that. Understanding acceptance.
Yeah.
So these are things that the kids that I work with deal with all the time. And those things normally lead them on a downward spiral when two of those things are maybe missing. Like it can be bad. So yeah, I see it every day. And I think my job, your job, our job is to give them the tools to equip them with the tools to overcome those things. Because sometimes we're counting on our parents for the shelter and for the love. And sometimes our parents or our guardians are just not built to give us that because of their life and what they've been through. That's one thing I used to kind of sometimes blame my older brothers for not like stepping in and being more of a father figure to me because they were so much older than me.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I realized, well, they didn't have it. So how can they give me something that they didn't have?
Right.
And when I became an adult and I understood that, then it made more sense to me. But I used to be like, I need, you're like 15 years older than me. I need something different from you, even though you're still my brother.
Right.
And so, I try not to blame people for not being able to give me what they didn't have. I had to realize that. We can't blame people for that. And some of the kids we work with are dealing with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I find it hard sometimes to explain this part of this because it's not even it's not a thing of, oh, you got to know mental health to understand this. Right. But if your basic needs are not met, there is a struggle for overall mental wellness. And it's not, again, it's mental wellness. We're not saying you have a mental illness. It's mental wellness, your overall mental wellness. Right. If certain things are not happening or are not in place in your life, then it can cause you to not feel your best mentally.
Do you think that, so when you start to recognize how things are going, I'm going to assume when you're in your marriage, when things are kind of going left, did it take a while for you to recognize that you were not getting the things that you needed, like that were pertaining to your list of things? Were you just going with the flow because this is what's expected? I've been married all this time. We have these kids. So I'm going to ignore maybe what I'm not getting. Did you have that phase?
So, and I would say that it's not even it wasn't just my marriage. It was even before. I use that as an example, but it was even before, right? So if I was to look back in my teenage years, right, and moving into young adulthood, something on that pyramid was always missing. Right. It may not have been the same at the same time, but it was just different, different levels. Not that it was not there. Okay. It's maybe I was just not aware of it. You follow me? So when we look at stabilization, love, stabilization, again, if I'm looking for love in a form of a man, right? And I'm saying, I don't have love because it's not coming in the form that I want it in. But my family, my friends is showing me love. I have love. So I think a lot of times, too, we are not mentally healthy because the form that we expect these things to come in, we can't see it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not coming in a form that we want them to come in. It's coming in a different form. Right.
Do you think, so you said when you were younger, so I kind of compare that to, or like when we're kids, when we're teenagers, like we can have the most supportive people around us. Our mom, our dad, our aunts, uncles, our siblings. Just have, all these people are in place to give us what we need. But when you're at that age, I'm going to say 13 to, I don't know, probably mid-20s. If you're not feel like you're being accepted by the opposite sex, that part is what throws us down a spiral sometimes. We can have all these people telling us how great we are and building our self-esteem. But I think at that age, in that little area right there, you kind of want it from who you want it from. Yeah. And when that doesn't happen, I think it can have the ability to throw you off. Yeah, like as a younger person. So absolutely, we want that acceptance from the opposite sex or the same sex, or whatever you're into, but you want that acceptance.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So do you believe that do you feel that people can get to a level of self-actualization?
Absolutely. I think with the support and with work, like, first of all, it has to start with you. And I just said this, me and the guys were talking at DECO the other day, and I was like, listen, nobody's coming to save us. No politician, no president.
Right.
God is not going to come in. There are things put into place for us we have to use discernment to figure things out, to say this is right or wrong, or this is wrong. But ultimately, it's up to you. So you have to make those decisions that you are going to follow a certain path and make certain choices to put you on the right track.
Right.
Self-actualization can be achieved, but it has to start with you. No one can do it for you. Now, you can have people around you to encourage and motivate you, but we encourage people and motivate people who have drug and alcohol problems all the time. They still get high and drinking.
Yeah.
You have to decide and put that work in for yourself. So can it be reached? Absolutely.
Yeah. So the funny part is I was, my undergrad is in psychology, right? And when we were studying, Maslow was one of the theorists that we studied. And I remember sitting there, and a lot of people in the class also felt this way. It was just like, nobody will ever reach a level of self-actualization, right? Because it was also saying that to reach a level of self-actualization, you're on a God level, right?
Right.
But now looking back at this, as you know, as a person that's healed and has created the life that I want, I realized that reaching a level of self-actualization comes with the ability to be able to create the life you want for yourself. And that's basically what it is.
You have to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to create the life that you want for yourself.
Right.
Right? And I think that is, in my opinion, the only way you can reach a level of self-actualization. And that looks different for everybody.
Right. I do think that people think that it should look a certain way. Like we should all be mentally fit. We should all have this big house. We should all have this. I think people get things like that confused with what it actually is. You know what I'm saying? So that's why some people may think that, well, you can't actually get there.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Because it looks, people, I think people may have a general idea of what it should look like. And that normally leads to, it has to do with material stuff.
Yeah.
Like, me and this kid was just having a conversation on the way over here. I said, this kid, like, I don't really know you. Me and my kid was just having a conversation on the way over here. And we were talking about a big grandiose house if we had the opportunity. And I said, if I had $10 million, I was like, I'm practical. I said, I don't need a 6-7 bedroom house. For what? It doesn't make sense. It's going to be, she's going to college in a year and a half. It's going to be 2 people there. So why would I do that? So I don't know. I just think that those things, as you get older and as you try to reach a level of self-actualization, you understand that those things it's not important.
Yep.
It doesn't make you
and it has nothing,
who you are.
And I'm glad you used that as an example because it has nothing to do with what you have, what you own, how much money you have. Reaching a level of self-actualization actually has to do with your inner yourself, your self-awareness, what's important to you, where you are. Right. Mentally, you know, spiritually, what makes you happy. Right. You know what I'm saying? And living in a shed with good health, you know, food to eat or whatever, that might be a person's self-actualization because for them, they have their basic needs. Their needs are being met. So my needs living in a shed may not be your needs of someone living in a mansion. Right. Right? Right. But it's mine. And because it's mine, then I'm okay. It doesn't look like yours. Right. So basically what I'm saying is we have to stop looking at everybody else, you know, what they have, what they're doing, and stop thinking that that's where I need to be. Because no, you create your own happiness, what that looks like for you. If you're constantly looking at everybody else, you will not reach that level of self-actualization. And you know what? The crazy part is what we're looking at today, we're looking at social media. And we're thinking that, oh, that's a life I want. Half that is bullshit. Yeah. Like, people, this is so crazy. People, like, I look at all these influencers on TV, right? I mean, on social media. These IG models, and this is not attacking the women, but I'm going to use these IG models, for instance. They have, I don't know, 400,000 followers, right? And they're half naked, they twerking, they doing everything that they do. And all of these things are being done from a little apartment. You look in the background, you can tell they're in an apartment, a little small apartment, not even like a little
plush condo. So I'm just like, what is all of that for? If you're still like, where's the elevate? How does this elevate you? Like you're popular, you're famous, but you're not. Like, what's the thing? I'd rather be rich than famous. I think people today would rather be famous than rich. And so I think we're trending backwards in this thing called life. And so Maslow's hierarchy of, what's it called? Needs is less important, I think, to people nowadays. So, I don't know how I got off into the Instagram model saying that.
I mean, perfect, because you know, it's things that people can relate to.
Yeah.
Right? It's things that people can relate to. And you want to give examples of that because it's something that people can relate to. That's what we see all the time, you know? So how do we take this model and begin to, not necessarily this model, but the conversation that we're having right now, and be able to, you know, make that change, you know, to help others see things, you know, and that self-actualization actually comes from you.
Right.
You creating that, you know?
I think by showing an example, like not only talking about it, but living it and letting people know that it's going to look different for everybody.
Right.
And remember how I used to do this example when we're talking about the whole dating thing. And would you date a dude that worked at McDonald's on fries? And everybody's like, well, he has a job, he has a car. Women always want to know, do you have a job? Do you have a car? Do you have your own place? That's the three things that women want to know when they meet a man, right? So he has a job, he has a car, he has his own place, and he doesn't have any student loan debt. He's been working there. He manages his money well. He has a crib. He has a little bit of savings. He has his 401k going. McDonald's, you stay there a while, you can be okay. But the things that come with him working at McDonald's is the issue. He works at McDonald's is the issue. So people miss out on a good person because that works for him. And so he would not get a chance because he doesn't have that prestigious job. He doesn't wear a suit every day.
Exactly.
So his needs are being met. So for that level of self-actualization, he's doing great. And there's people out here that are trying to obtain some foolishness, and it keeps him off track because you are like, there's nothing wrong with swinging for the fences and trying to hit the home run, but don't count on other people to get that for you. You have to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Now we know what it is. So we got to do better, right?
Yep. Get a job at McDonald's and manage your money well. They paying $20 an hour, by the way. I mean,
hey, listen.
With no education, no experience, you can walk in the door paying $20.
Job.
I ain't gonna do that, but listen, I salute them for paying people a decent wage nowadays, because I worked at McDonald's, and I think back in high school, I think I made like $5.45 an hour.
I was ready to say, it definitely wasn't
that check
over
was
6.
nothing. And the tax man got in there. I didn't understand the tax man in 11th grade. Old FICA came through there.
Look, my son. Shout out to my son, Bryson. He has his first job, right?
Okay.
I ain't gonna say where because I don't want nobody stalking my child. But he has his first job, and he's been bringing home good money. Okay.
Wow.
So he was like, "Mom, like, what is up with this? Like, I see this on the check, but this is what I'm bringing home." I said, "Oh, honey, those are called taxes."
Yes. And they break it down to your net.
Yeah.
That net pay is awful
for
sometimes.
Sure, for sure. So I'm glad we were able to have this conversation in regards to, you know, just the things that we need met and we need to be striving for, and not getting this mixed up with what we're seeing on social media. Yeah. You know, that's not you. You know, that's not your life. Create the life that you want for yourself. That is what happiness is. Every day that you wake up, you have a choice. You know what your choice is? Your choice to be happy or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You have a choice to be happy or not. If you wake up and you choose, hey, you say today's not going to be a good day, guess what? Today's not going to be a good day. So you have a choice every day. So you do have a choice to reach that level of self-actualization. What is it that you want for yourself? What are the things that's going to make you happy? right? What is your basic needs? It don't have to be what you saw on a pyramid. It could be something different.
Right.
Some people might want to, strengthen their faith, right? So that might be something that's going to be important. You said faith is important to you. It's very important for me as well. If I don't have anything else, I got to have my relationship with God, because I know when I have that relationship with God, everything else is going to come.
All right, sister.
All right, so. But what are your basic needs, and create the life that you want for yourself? That is my message to you. That is our message to you.
Amen. That's
today.
right.
So, all right. Anything else you want to leave?
Hey, man, listen, again, I want to just piggyback off of what you said. Create the life you need. Don't worry about other people, what they think, what you should be doing, and what they think about what you are doing. Do what works for you. Be comfortable in what you're doing, and I think you'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in to the Rebirth. Remember, this is the year to renew, rebuild, and restore. Renew your mind, rebuild your life, and restore your spirit and soul. Until next week, have a good night.
Peace.